Beautiful Tuesday morning. I'm first warning meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week in the mornings at 8 o'clock to chat about what's going on in the world of weather. And of course, hopefully getting your day started off on the right note. Always offer you to share this with your friends and your family so that everybody knows what's going on in the world of weather here in Central Florida. And of course, what to expect for the weekend, because at the end of the day, that's what so many of us are working for, right? What's the saying? Everybody's working for the weekend. Here's a look at where we're at. Top two things we're monitoring is building heat and rising rain chances. It is almost like a summer's pattern is taking over here in Central Florida. That said, this morning, let's look outside. There's a live look at Disney Springs, and the tower cam kind of says the story. We are watching pockets of thick fog in the area. Not too bad in this spot, but there are dense fog advisories posted just north of the metro. That includes Lake County, West Volusia County, Marion County, Putnam County, Alachua County, and of course communities up to the north. So heads up, my friends, visibilities are lowered. Here's a look at some of those visibilities across Central Florida. And you can very clearly see while Kissimmee and Orlando are fine, Leesburg's at a quarter-mile visibility. Wildwood, nothing. Ocala, nothing. So please drive with care, my friends. Really and truly, take it easy on the roads. Allow extra braking distance. One of the top stories on the Today Show this morning was how a snow squall combined with thick fog yesterday caused a terrible accident. Fatal accident. Multi-car pileup. Certainly we don't have any snow here, but it just goes to show you that fog is a thing that can certainly add to concern. So just keep that in mind, all right? All right, no rain on our first morning live Doppler radar this morning. Temperature's nice and comfortable. We're in the 50s and 60s in the area. And looking ahead at the rest of the day, my friends, we are looking gorgeous. 74 degrees, 11 o'clock. It's 82 by 1 o'clock, 86 degrees by 3 o'clock. So, see, and of course I start talking and I start yawning. My apologies. This is where the coffee comes in. All right, so this is a beautiful day, but it does look like it's going to be as warm, if not warmer, than where we were yesterday. What is going on in the world of weather? As soon as I find the graphic, I will show it to you. Okay, all right, so high pressure sitting out to our east. It's actually up here off the Carolinas, giving us kind of an onshore wind. That looks great, but over the next couple of days, we're going to get more of a southerly component to the wind, and we highlight it in red because southerly winds mean warmer temperatures, and we're going to be building that heat in more and more and more. So just be ready for it, my friends. Forecast for today, as I mentioned, as warm, if not even warmer than where we were yesterday. Let's just take a look, shall we? 86 in the city, beautiful. That's what we hit about yesterday. May even get a little bit warmer. About 87 degrees in Winter Haven. 88 degrees in some spots. It's possible. I'm just going to be honest with you. 85 degrees in DeLand. About 77, 78, 79 for Flagler and Volusia counties. We'll be into the lower 80s for Brevard County. So, yeah, it's going to be a warm day. Next couple of days, by the way, building in more and more and more of that heat. Matter of fact, while today's forecast takes us to 86, by Thursday, we make it to 90 degrees in the metro area. So well above average today. Well above average. Well above average for Thursday. Matt, good morning to you. Is it possible we can get a forecast for Run Disney races this weekend? Yes, they're not done yet, but I will put that on my list of things to work on today. And we'll have it for your afternoon coffee talk. That I can promise you. My apologies, though, in the meantime. All right. Good morning to you, Nita. I need coffee. I am seriously, I am like fading. I don't know if you guys and gals saw my Facebook post. Eric wanted to decorate my shirt. I lost one of the dinosaurs. Don't tell him. So he put some dinosaur stickers on, and then I forgot about them. And so here we are on Coffee Talk with nothing but style, right? How does it look? Good morning to you, Beverly. Looks great outside. It's just a little foggy in spots. I am half asleep, y'all. I apologize. If I'm seemingly off, it's not seemingly. I'm off. I need to wake up. Is anybody else freezing? Linda's asking. Oh, man. Are you freezing? Beverly says this is warm enough. Time to shut the oven off. All right, so then should I show you these next few days? Stand by. I'll show it to you. I mean, like it or not, here it is, right? If I can find the darn thing. This is the one. All right. Temperature trend over the next couple of days for Orlando. 86, 88, 90, 86. Now, granted, Friday, you're going to say to yourself like, oh, great. Temperatures are going to drop. I mean, 86 is still warm. But why are the temperatures dropping? Let's take a look at the extended forecast, okay? Here we are, looking great. High pressure in control, high pressure in control. But you see that front over Texas? That front is going to get closer and closer to us come Thursday, come Friday. And while it's not really going to drop our temperatures at all, it stalls out, which, by the way, is an indicator that we're like done and over with any of the cool. But as that front just kind of parks and leaves moisture, our rain chances going up and up and up. Take a look at the rain chances over the next couple of days, all right? For today, nice and dry. For tomorrow, nice and dry. Thursday, 30% coverage of rain. Friday, 60% coverage of rain. And yeah, Thursday, you see the icon there. The Storm Prediction Center has placed us under a level 1 risk for strong to severe storms, and that may play in as well on Friday. Isolated strong to severe storms is kind of where we're at. So it's definitely something that we're going to be watching closely. Lisa says, looking forward to swimming this morning into the Leon Springs State Park. Just be ready. It's chilly. It's chilly. Dad says, looks perfect, Eric. You did a great job. I think so too, right? Thank you. I think so too. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. What's coming for next week? Oh man. We could look at the models here in a minute. Nancy says, spring weather in Central Florida is magnificent. I don't disagree with you. Just be ready. Just be ready for the building heat. Thursday will be seemingly our hottest day. And so based on that, here's a look at the forecast. Here's a look at the records. I think we're going to be awful close to a record in Sanford. Record set back in 1970. Leesburg, I think we're going to break a record set last year. Daytona Beach, Melbourne, close but not close. Same idea, I think, for us in Orlando. Close but not close. All right? Burr for the spring. Why is the risk always just north of me? Carolyn's asking. Well, you're a meteorologist. You should know this. Do we have to get into the zonal flow and all of the thermodynamics? Allergy relief. What we need is some pretty decent rains. And what we have in the forecast is just some rains. So here's a look at Central Florida's most accurate 7-day forecast, just to detail that. And you can see, yes, there are some rain chances around. So at the very least, we're going to get the rain. Do we get it enough to where we're talking about allergy relief? Not sure. But, it will at least help. Any rain this time of year is a help. Now, another thing to point out, though, is that as those temperatures climb, one thing I do want to point out, it's not just the rain chances that go up. Cue our muggy meter. You know where I'm going with this. Yeah, the muggy meter is going out of the pleasant territory. We are getting into humid territory by Friday. Dew point temperature by Friday morning. Now, these are not air temperatures. These are dew point temperatures, okay? No, it's not technical. It's just that I'm a thunderstorm repulsor. Oh, okay. That's funny. All right. So muggy meter. Let's talk about dew points. Okay. So let's get into the nerd stuff for a second. We're getting more and more humid. You talk all about humidity all the time, right? But the actual term for humidity is relative humidity. Okay. It's a simple math equation. Of course, I'm typing this in the wrong box. Y'all, what is wrong with me? So humidity, case in point, relative humidity right now is 90%, 100%. There's fog that's developed. The atmosphere is saturated. But is the atmosphere dry or is the atmosphere moist? For that, you have to check the dew point. Okay, so dew point is a raw measurement of atmospheric moisture. We have dew points in the 50s and 60s. It looks great outside, okay? So even though humidity is at 100%, obviously it doesn't feel like summer, right? So dew point temperature is the best way to understand actual moisture in the air. So when we use that ahead, the muggy meter showing that while today's dew points are in the 50s, it's great. Tomorrow we get into the 60s, Thursday mid 60s. By Friday, the dew points get into the 70s. Gross. Gross. We're not to summer levels, but the moisture is definitely increasing. Bruce, the old Coots Saturday. When will the rain start? We'll take a look at Futurecast, my friend, here in just a moment. Nancy says the late night for the Garth concert is catching up with you, but I believe it was worth it from the pics in the video. It was great. Maybe that's what it is. I'm just struggling today. Nancy says, Eric, have some Pilone and join me. Mine. I'm having mine right now with you. This is Pilone. This is the cup that I brewed this morning at 5:30, and I've just been nursing it little by little. I need to pound it is what it is. Or it just needs to work. Good gravy. All right, so humidity's on the increase, but you're asking about the forecast ahead. So let's just take a look here. All right, so extended Futurecast. So here we are tomorrow. Things are looking good. We'll continue Wednesday. We're looking good, but there's that next front we were talking about a little earlier kind of approaching us, right? And you can kind of see there's 3 o'clock starting to popcorn up a couple of showers and thunder showers. As that front gets into our area, 3 through 11 o'clock, we've got plenty of moisture around, all right? So keep that in mind. Then Friday, that moisture's still around. Saturday, that moisture almost gets an influx. I would say Saturday for right now is looking pretty crummy. Super fun. And then looking ahead to Sunday, we're just left with some of the remnants. Sunday's when we're celebrating Jeannie's birthday, so we would certainly like to have better weather for Sunday. Cannot wait to get back. Brett, come on back, buddy. Espresso Cafe. I need something. I had to switch to half calf. Oh, yeah. I'm full calf, and it's just not working. What is a baby cow called? Not a calf? What is it? I don't know. Whatever it is, I need it. All right. To events, my friends, okay? So Wednesday, Orlando Pride is playing over at Exploria. I just made a bunch of new logos for the teams because a bunch of new teams are around and a bunch of new logos. So New York, New Jersey, Gotham FC coming to town, and it's looking great for that one on Wednesday. I do want to point out, though, that's the wrong graphic. Burris, what is wrong with you? Like, seriously, what is wrong with me? For Saturday, 7:30 p.m. start for the Lions welcoming Los Angeles FC to town. This one looks like showers, maybe thunder showers, just as I mentioned. Saturday is looking pretty wet. Into Sunday, things are looking better. Yeah. Janet, Eric, are you saying both the dew point and humidity must be high to truly experience the unbreathable air? I would say no, because think about it. Okay, I need to think of a way to make this classroom time. Temperature. Think of temperature as where you are, right? The dew point is the absolute measurement where the atmosphere is saturated. So this morning, it was nice and cool, and the dew points are nice and low. So they hit together, meaning the atmosphere was saturated, meaning that at that level of humidity, we are saturated, meaning we got the fog to develop, okay? Summertime, summertime. More moisture, dew point goes up. Temperature comes down to that dew point, and you're super saturated. The difference is being super saturated with temperatures in the 50s, much nicer than being super saturated with temperatures in the 70s. I would go ahead and say this. You're never going to drop your temperature below the dew point because that's where you build clouds, right? Or you get dew. The atmosphere can no longer hold moisture and water vapor, and it has to condense out, okay? I hope I'm explaining this well. Critique me if I'm doing okay, if you're understanding this or not. So again, I would say relative humidity. If I'm being very honest with you, I hate relative humidity. It just does nothing. because it's a moving mark and it doesn't genuinely give you an idea of anything. To me, the temperature and the dew point. Temperature over dew point. Think of temperature as your temperature, dew point as your bottom line. You're never going to go below it. For example, as a pilot, relative humidity means nothing because as you're calling in for, information alpha, temperature 13, dew point 12, altimeter, they give you temperature and dew point. Okay? So I hope that clarifies that. I hope. Let me know, please, because I want to help you out. But at the end of the day, no matter where the temperature is, no matter where the dew point is, if you get enough moisture in play, you run the risk of getting fog. And in fact, this morning, that's what we have. Dense fog advisory in effect until 10 o'clock. Darlene says, your son turned your shirt into an Izod polo. I love it, right? He did. I'll wear it proudly until if I'm at work and I have to do something on TV, then I have to clean it off. But in the meantime, I'm going to wear it loud, wear it proud. Yeah. All right. So today we start off with the fog, but through the day today, just want to point out that once again, we are running in a moderate fire danger index. We're still very much in the dry season, though we are doing okay in that rainfall department. Okay. Not great, but okay. So just keep that in mind. You're gold. You're good. Thank you, Beth. I appreciate that. Linda, thank you. All right. As long as everybody understands. So for now, yeah, Central Florida's most accurate 7-day forecast showing the gorgeous weather today, gorgeous weather tomorrow. Those temperatures are climbing. And then late week into the weekend, we start to get more and more of those showers and those thunder showers around. Yeah. All right. So Friday morning doesn't look bad. Dan, maybe explain saturated. Sure. Well, think of it like this. You go outside and you feel good, you're not going to sweat. You go outside, you feel crummy, you're going to start to sweat. When your clothing is sweaty, it gets saturated. It gets just covered in moisture. That's all I mean. Is that when the atmosphere can only hold so much liquid, right? The atmosphere can only hold so much moisture. Once it's saturated, it has to turn into dew on the grass or fog in the air. And so that's what saturated means. Yeah. What's the technical definition? Saturated. What's the technical definition? Holding as much water or moisture as can be absorbed, thoroughly soaked. There you go. So that's the idea there. How is the dew point measured? Is it a hydrometer, right? A sling psychrometer, yeah. Dew point is calculated using air temperature and a relative humidity value, which is measured using the sling psychrometer, right? So, if you ever want a good laugh, here, this is deep diving into stuff. Let's see, YouTube. Let's see here. All right, sling psychrometer. Let's show you how to use a sling psych.
Sure how to use a sling psychrometer to determine the relative humidity and dew point temperature? If so, stay right here and I'll show you how to properly use that sling psychrometer.
I have no idea who this guy is.
Humidity and dew point data using micrometric chart and make sure the reservoir.
All right, watch this. I've done this in college.
Verify the wick at the end of the bulb is saturated. Wetting the wick for another
Basically, it's a thermometer of sorts, but you have to take and make a calculation and spin it. Is he going to spin it? He's not. What a waste of time. Yeah. And you spin it. Now, you don't have to, yeah, so it's just a thermometer that basically gets wet, yeah, and you spin it around. I did this in college.
Too fast, they're not spinning it too slow. The reason we have to spin it is because the wet bulb temperature tells us the temperature that water is evaporating. So we need to spin this around so that the water.
There it is. You get the idea.
Okay. So then we take our.
A sling psychrometer. Good times. Kelsey, good morning. There's another Run Disney race this weekend. Can we expect rain on those early mornings on Saturday and Sunday? I will tell you that I will put together a forecast and I'll have it for you in the afternoon coffee talk. Yeah. You went to school, you tell us. I know. Well, but I'm not operating on all cylinders today. I'm not doing good. College is the only place you do it, Carolyn says. Ever launched a radio song? I've never launched one, no. I've watched it done. Brian, and that class probably cost $30K. I don't know. I don't know why. My brain is just not operating today. But yeah, so you only do that in college. Now I could tell you that my my weather station here at the house calculates it all, and you can get all of that data live. So let's just see. At my house, the app is loading. All right, so at my house, temperature is 61.9. The dew point is 62. So it's right. So I'm super saturated, which means that my grass is probably soaking wet. Yeah. So yeah, we are sitting at 100%. And that dew point at 62. I'm sure that's rounded, because if you look, it's rounded. They're super close together. Yeah. If you look, you can see there. My temperature and my dew point lines are parallel. So one is rounded, one is not. Yeah, so it's not like, yeah, air temperature 61.9, dew point is 62. It's probably 61.9, just rounded to 2. Oh, actually, no, I've got a full readout below. Air temperature is 61.9, dew point is 61.5, and the wet bulb temperature is 61.7. So it's all calculations that nobody probably cares much about. At the end of the day, though, this is all stuff that we learn in college that we never use. But if somebody says meteorologist, they did it. Who can forget the sling psychrometer, having to go over wet bulb temperature, the evaporation rate? And how often do we use that? I was talking yesterday to Kellyanne class about how out of everything, now granted it's different in different career paths in meteorology, like broadcast meteorology, we use a very unique skill set, and research uses a different skill set, and so I get it, right? But we were talking about how there are certain key things that in broadcast you just have to always know, like how to read velocity data on radar, how to understand the difference between raw velocity and storm relative velocity, the difference in sounding data, especially in severe weather, or, snow events up to the north. But like in severe weather, there's a thing called a Skew-T log P, an upper air sounding. You want to know what that looks like? Let me show you guys and gals. Carolyn says, I miss plotting Skew-Ts. Well, we were just talking about that. Let's see here. Stand by. Skew-T diagram. I don't want to know how to do it. I just want the data. There, that's the website that I use all the time. Okay, so the nearest one we have, XMR, that's over at the Cape. Stuvie diagram. Holy crow, I've not heard that in forever. Okay, so here's the latest sounding from the Cape. Okay, now, and I was talking to Kellyanne about this, and I was like, I'm at the point, and I'm not trying to say that like I'm Mr. Great or anything, because believe me, I'm not. But I'm at the point where I can look at this and just like a painting, I can just kind of see it and be like, got it. Like a broad, I can take an instant look and get it. And then, you start looking. But essentially the idea is, what are you looking at? Believe it or not, what you're looking at here, temperature with height, dew point with height, okay? And you're looking at 500 millibars, how high is that? 400 millibars, how high is that? So you're looking at the upper level data, but it does more than just that. It shows you wind speed and wind direction. So when we talk to you, again, we're getting so into the weeds, I literally cannot believe we're talking about Skew-T on here. Dr. David Arnold would be so proud. I literally cannot believe we're talking about this. But when we say to you like upper level dynamics support severe weather or upper level dynamics support hail, this is what we're looking at, friends. This is where we get an idea. You know, do you have the goalpost? Do you have supersaturation? Do you have a temperature inversion? There's all kinds of elements to this, okay? So this is where we see temperature and dew point with height. This is where we see wind speed and wind direction with height. And then from there are all kinds of calculations, okay? So for example, you know, lifted index, your CAPE values, your Showalter index, your precipitable water, all different things that are read. And computers, of course, do this. But the joke is, as Carolyn had mentioned, we used to have to do this in college. I had a big blank canvas of this up on my wall. Like if you saw my room in college, I had a big one of these on the wall. And it's not because it was like, man, I've got Dave Matthews poster and a blank Skew-T poster and I love them both. No, it's because every day, I'll show you, you had to take... And to a certain extent, I still do this. This is the raw data, okay? And I'm going to be honest with you. This is the raw data from XMR, from the Cape. Every single day, I plot this. Seriously, even today. This is a recent thing. But plotting this actually helps me track the LRC. This is something I just started doing this year. But you can track raw data, temperature, relative humidity, mixture rate, all of your theta, all of this stuff. This is so nerdy. If you'd ever told me I was going to explain raw sounding data on any kind of a broadcast platform, I would have laughed. But here we are 20 years into my career and I'm doing it. So anyway, so every day I'll show you what I do is I plot the height at 500 millibars. So today, 5,800. Okay? And I plot that, and that helps me track if we're ahead on the LRC or if we're behind on the LRC. Did you know that? I mean, did you know how much work goes into it? It's craziness. So anyway, that is super nerd stuff. If you guys and gals are ever interested in learning more about this nerd stuff, the website, theweatherprediction.com. I know I've mentioned it before. This is from one of my college professors, theweatherprediction.com. This website looks like no different than when I was in college, okay? But weather prediction education and resources, Skew-T. You click it, all lessons. So you're asking about... you're asking all about the indices and things. There you go. You want to learn more about the Showalter index? Boom. It even gives you a quick glance at it. You want to learn about lifted index? Boom. Instability. All of these things that we look at, you can look. It's all available. Academia is an amazing thing. Theweatherprediction.com. I'm telling you, it is all there, including terrible jokes and quizzes. Oh, God. The answer keys provided. A parcel of air rising when plotted on the Skew-T can only blank as it rises. And by the way, I've done these quizzes post-college. These are some of the exact quizzes that I took in college. Not that you care, but, you know. The environmental temperature is the wet or dry adiabatic lapse rate, parcel. This is actually making my head hurt because I know I've taken these in his actual class. The hydrolapse is a sounding with no CAPE has no. You want to be a meteorologist? I'm telling you, my friends, this website is literally the key to my meteorology background. So, for what it's worth. Love the sciencey stuff, Betty says. Brian, yeah, but is it going to snow in Florida? That's too funny. Angela, speaking of the LRC, can you show April, please? Sure. I can't promise it's all going to be right because it's nothing's ever, but I can promise that it's at least the best that I could do at the time. Deborah says, this is so interesting. I'm glad you think it's interesting because it's literally bringing me nightmares of college. When I was half asleep, there's so much to it. My sound is not good. I hear a lot of static. I don't know why. Susie says, thank you, but I need your interpretation. I'd be in the weeds. Listen, I remember there were moments going through these quizzes. I'll come back to the April long range. But I remember coming through some of these quizzes. The dry adiabatic lapse rate is equal to, I remember going through some of these quizzes thinking, there is no way I'm going to be successful at this. Seriously. Like, this is an easy one. Rain that freezes after hitting the ground is sleet, freezing rain, grapple, or ice pellets. Anybody know? Yeah. So you can get all into the weeds. And it's free. He does that, he accepts donations. I should throw a couple of dollars his way. That website, if I'm honest, if there's things that I don't know or don't use very often, like for example, in the winter time, I know I've used several times. I've gone back to look at some winter sounding data just because we don't do it very often. And it's kind of my Cliff's Notes of things. Man. Makes my head hurt. Beth says I use this stuff when it's hurricane season. It's great. Penn State's swallow. Yeah, well, it just reminds you, right? It just reminds you all of the weeds that you were in for years. Woof. And what's so funny like when we have interns at WESH, like we have an intern now, he's great. But the one, you get so in the weeds in school, and it's like the one lesson that I tell my school talks the same thing. It's like, out of all of that, you're literally getting into the weeds. Would you believe me if I told you that you get your first TV job and the first thing your news director is going to say to you is, I don't care about that. As a matter of fact, one of the big things that the bosses say, no geeky science stuff. It doesn't research well. We can get a little into the weeds on Coffee Talk, but on TV, you've got 2 minutes, and the only thing that people are watching for is it going to be hot or cold? Is it going to be wet or dry? That's it. So you go through all of that to not do it. Isn't it funny? I think it's hilarious. I remember I was working at a television station and I was going to school and I'm like, I am never going to use this stuff. Now, like the Showalter, the lifted index, those are things we do use, certainly. But it's tough. There's elements to it. That are just... Now, I will tell you that I'm very surprised when certain people have no idea about the stuff you should know. When somebody walks in and they're great on those thermodynamics, but they have no idea about the, how to read a velocity product off a radar, or what is different, yada, 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 yada. It's like, but that's actually stuff we use, I don't know. It's just interesting. Carolyn says, so let's keep people uneducated. You know what it is, though, is at the end of the day, like people that are here for Coffee Talk, guess what? You're a nerd. Odds are. I mean, you're watching a weather guy yabber on for a half an hour plus. You're probably here because you're a nerd. So we can get a little more into the weeds. But the people that are watching the news, they're not nerds. So we need to talk about the things that impact them. So it makes sense. It's not a matter of we get into the weeds when we need to. When there's a tornado, we'll get into the weeds. I get it. It's just one of those things that for an intern, it's very difficult to comprehend. You know? That's just the way that it is. I think it's very interesting. Nikki says, you can give us all the geeky science stuff on Coffee Talk. It's fascinating. Well, and you're here for it, right? Like, and I appreciate that. Although, you could have picked a morning where my brain was operating a little better for me to get into Skew-T's. Oh, I can't believe it. I wish that I was still in touch with any of my professors where I could be like, so 20 years into my career, I got into the Skew-T's on TV. Though they'd probably want to see it and they'd probably critique, well, you know, that's not how I would have explained it. Brian says, just like so many other career fields, there's school and then there's real world where you throw the books out. It's true. It's true. You see, it's inspiring to see how passionate you are about my career. Thank you, my dear. I appreciate that very much. Jennifer says, no geeky science stuff. I have to ask my husband to stop that sometimes because my ears get full. Listen, I mean, but I'm the same way with like rocket launches. I'm just glad I was able to get Jeannie to go do a rocket launch with me so that she could see why I'm such a nerd about it. Kimberly says, I still have never used algebra. I told the teacher I never would need it. Yeah. They also, you know what they said to me in school, and this is hilarious, and I am no all-star at math, but they said, you need to learn math because you may never have you may be somewhere where you don't have a calculator. You may be somewhere where you don't have a calculator. You may be somewhere where you don't have, there's a calculator. Back in the day, though, I get the idea. Back in the day. Susie says, but all the geeky stuff gives you the knowledge and wisdom to give your forecast with confidence. And I will agree. If you didn't go that deep into the weeds, you couldn't pull back and give the forecast. Well, like there are times, let me tell you, during true severe weather events, I go in the weeds. And there are some times where I go to the weatherprediction.com just to kind of refamiliarize myself. Seriously, like the first like fall, winter, spring severe threat for us, I'm always like, all right, which one's CAPE, which one's lifted index, which is Showalter? Because it's like if you don't use it for 6 months, if you don't use it for 2 months, God, if I don't use it for a day, sometimes my brain doesn't work. So, I'm grateful that I have a resource like that where I can go back and check. Everybody has to have that. Janet, I love listening to this, but also love Lake Eola Spring Festival. Is that rain coverage going to wreck my Saturday afternoon? Saturday's looking pretty wet. As a matter of fact, if trends continue, that Saturday rain chance is probably going to start going up. Yeah, so sorry. I apologize. Anne says, maybe a little bit nerdy. It's okay. It's okay to be. It's okay to be a nerd. As a matter of fact, I would prefer to be a nerd. I tell everybody, I feel like I'm peaking in my career, Like there was like the super hot guys that peaked in high school, and it's just like, I remember sitting there thinking, I wish that I was insert person's name here. Because nobody, I was the nerd in high school and in college. And I feel like, although like Brandon Marshall went to high school and college with me, that dude's pretty much just peaking all the time. But he's a good dude, so, at least there's that. But I feel like the nerds peak longer. You have a longer burn. It's a slow burn, but it's a longer burn. But that's also just me being me. What am I going to do? Beth says, I've learned a lot of things in the 5 years I've been here. That is the greatest compliment that I could truly receive because I love sharing my nerddom. Kenneth, if you're watching a modern television or this broadcast, thank someone who can do math. I cannot do math without a calculator. Yeah. I wrote programs with my best friend Miguel in high school to help our graphing calculators handle molecular mass and things in chemistry class. Gross. Ugh. I love nerdy. Susie says, I'm awful with algebra, but my grandson overheard me converting a recipe out loud and said, you just did algebra in your head. That's true. Scaling up or down recipes is probably where I use freehand mathematics the most. Sunday, we're heading to SeaWorld around 9 a.m. How's the rain looking? Got here late. I would say that Sunday's probably going to be more of a morning shower, kind of then afternoon thunder shower kind of thing. But yeah, not too bad. All right, so overall trend here, my friends. Warm today, hot tomorrow, hottest on Thursday, a couple of stronger storms possible on Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we're just kind of previewing summer. This is not the start of the rainy season, though. It looks like it, and it may even feel like it, but that's because there's a cold front that arrives, dies out, and leaves moisture. We're going to get another front that's going to kind of move it out. What you look for is about May is when that last deposit of moisture is here and it just fires up the rainy season. We are not there yet, but we're going to get there, okay? All right, listen, be good, would you people? Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I will see you guys and gals for the Coffee Talk update, the afternoon Coffee Talk at 3:30. I will have your Run Disney forecast. That I can promise you, and we'll get you taken care of, all right? Mathletes rule, Carolyn says. I don't disagree at all. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so much for hanging out for Coffee Talk. I will see you guys and gals later. Bye.